Hi, I'm Paris, and last week, Tuesday, I was watching the live launch online of the OnePlus 5 phone, their brand new model, and I got kind of caught up in the excitement of it, and I ordered one, which arrived today. I'm pretty good about not making impulse purchases, but electronics, that's my downfall, and unfortunately electronics is one of the most expensive impulse purchases. This is the basic model of the OnePlus 5. It has 6 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage, and it goes for $479. Find out more about it at the link down below this video. Now, I had intended to buy the OnePlus 5 when it came out, but I was thinking later in the year to replace my OnePlus 3. I love this phone, but it fell and the corner has a number of cracks. I said I'll just keep using this until I replace it with the OnePlus 5 instead of spending the money to fix the screen on this. And the day this was announced, apparently I decided I had waited long enough. So it's nice box, it's iPhone-ish in being white, and it's very soft feel material. That with their traditional pairing of colors for OnePlus. It looks a lot like my OnePlus 3. Now this is a silver backing, this one is gray, and if you order the high-end phone, which is 8 gigabytes of memory, 128 gigabytes of storage, it's, I think, midnight black on the back. Before I start covering it in fingerprints, take a look at it here next to my OnePlus 3. They look pretty similar, same size screen, same bezel area, same locations for the fingerprint sensor, the flash, the camera, the speaker grill. But there is something new on the back of the phone. I'll show you that in a second. I will be doing a separate video with a more in-depth comparison between the OnePlus 3 and the OnePlus 5 in case you're deciding whether it's worthwhile to upgrade. All right, time for fingerprints. Let's see what else is in the box. The fast charger looks really similar to the one I have for my OnePlus 3. Same red and white charging cable with the USB Type-C connector. Also included is a postcard from Iceland. I guess they used the money I sent them to buy the phone to take a nice trip. Actually, this is to show off the photographic capability of the new camera in the OnePlus 5, which is something I'd heard a lot of good things about before it went on sale, but now that more people have gotten a hold of it and reviewed it, they're saying it's not quite as impressive as it was made out to be, but supposedly it does a lot better job than the camera on the OnePlus 3. The phone feels like it's kind of glued into this piece right here, but I think it's the rubber at the top and the bottom it's just jammed into. Unflapping this and pulling, I think I've got the user manual. It's the quick start guide and the safety information and the SIM card popper to pop out the SIM card tray. See about loosening this phone from this. Here we go. Okay, feels a little different. Here's the back of the OnePlus 5. They certainly had a lot of writing to put on the back. Underneath of this is my sticker with my IMEI numbers. They felt it was very important to let you know that the Nfc sensor is up here at the very top. So if you use your phone to pay for things, you'll know to put this part of the phone nearest to the Nfc sensor in the store when you're buying things. They also mention pop the SIM card tray out and put your SIM card in the tray and put it back in. Don't just stick the SIM card into the hole in the phone. I guess people have been doing that. And it also says don't try to take the back cover off. That voids the warranty. Some people probably do that, trying to replace the battery. I've been duly warned, so let's remove all this. Next to my OnePlus 3, maybe you can see what's new on the back of the phone. Yep, the camera has been moved up to the corner here, and there are now 2 lenses. These are the only pages in the Quick Start Guide that are in English. It does point out that it's a dual SIM phone, and that you'll notice there's no place to pop out a micro SD card because there is no expansion option. Speaking of the SIM card tray and the power button, they're still in the same position as they were in the OnePlus 3. And on the opposite side, they've kept the notification slider, one very unique thing on the OnePlus 5. You can silence your phone with that switch and the volume rocker below that. Nothing going on here at the top of the phone. On the bottom, you've got microphone, speaker, the USB Type-C charging and data transfer port. And if you watched the live launch, it was pretty funny when they originally showed this and they had photoshopped out the headphone jack. And you could almost hear a gasp around the world when people thought there was no headphone jack on it. But then they took off the Photoshop edit and said, of course, who would build a phone without a headphone jack? Should be enough juice in it to start it up and see what the screen looks like. So let me get that going. Holding the power button in. The vibration, that's looking the same. The vibration sounded a little different, and I heard they changed the motor in it to make the vibration stronger. It's going through the same startup. And now I'll have to go through the setup procedure. I'm not ready to move my SIM card over, so I'll just go through it quickly and let you see what the screen looks like. There is a pre-installed screen protector. I remember my OnePlus 3 came with that as well, and it was 2 days after I finally peeled it off, that's when my phone fell and the screen cracked. So now I'm a little superstitious, and I don't think I'll take this one off. This is the default background that came up. Looks pretty nice. Here's a screen that's mostly white, so you can compare the colors on white. And the default screen for the camera. You can swipe over to turn to video. Now back here on photo, an interesting thing is right above the dot there it says 1x. Because this has two lenses, one of them is a telephoto lens. Let's see what the other one offers us. And that's what I understood. There's a 2x telephoto. So when I tapped on the 1x, it changed to 2x and it basically zoomed in. Now it didn't really. What it did is it switched to the other lens, which is set for the 2x magnification. Where there's at 1x and 2x and 1x. With this, instead of zooming in when you want to take a picture of a flower or even something in the distance, you want to try to make it look a little closer, and you pinch and zoom here to make it look larger, and you take that picture, you're really just taking a subset of the picture and using that to fill the screen. So there's no magnification going on, it's all an illusion. But with this, the lenses are actually set up in the second camera, so it's always set for that 2x magnification, so everything should be much sharper taking pictures that way. And I'll be doing a separate video dedicated to testing out just the camera on the phone. Now swiping this way, away from video, turns it into a portrait mode, which is set to automatically use depth of field to blur out the background in the picture, so all the emphasis is on the person in the front. The OnePlus 5 ships with Android version 7.1.1. Here's how much of the 64 gigabytes of onboard storage is being used. Very small amount, just half a gigabyte, but it doesn't say of 64 gigabytes, it says of 52 gigabytes because a certain amount is reserved for the Android operating system and for the shell, which OnePlus puts on top of that to give you some extra features. Kind of cool feature I found under advanced is gaming do not disturb. You can set particular apps that will trigger this feature, games presumably, and when it's enabled you won't have any pop-ups, you won't have any notifications, things won't come through to interfere with your gaming experience. I've changed out to a different wallpaper, very nice, very crisp looking. This is just an HD display. I actually prefer this than the higher resolution displays because they use battery faster. And when I'm looking at a screen this size, the 4K or whatever else it is lost on my eyes. So I'll take battery life any day over a 4K screen. Now the battery in the OnePlus 5 is actually the tiniest bit smaller capacity than in the OnePlus 3, which was a little worrisome to hear, but because it has newer processor and other things that they've done, they say the battery will actually last up to 20% longer. I used to really be fixated on that. I loved my ZTE Z-Max because it had a 4,000, I think it was over a 4,000 milliamp hour battery in it. That thing would last for days. But I don't worry about it now in phones that have the quick charge feature. I think it's called Dash Charge with the OnePlus. It charges up your phone. If you have half an hour, you can let the phone sit. It'll charge it up over halfway. So now I'm just sort of in the habit around the middle of the afternoon when I know I won't need my phone for a bit, I plug it in for even just 20 minutes and it bumps it up 30-40%. That gets me through the rest of the day. So I count on being able to do that, and I don't fixate on having a much bigger battery, which is bigger and heavier all the time when you're carrying your phone around. Well, I've got lots more to try out with my new OnePlus 5, and I will be doing videos as I learn about those new features, and I'll do a couple comparing it to the OnePlus 3 in case this is your phone. Is it going to be worth it to upgrade? I'm glad I have this. I like it. I can just tell you, holding both of them, this one curves around my fingers and this one doesn't. This one has that flat edge on all sides, which I noticed that there's a point on the back too. It's missing a piece. This one is solid. It feels nice. But is it worth paying $479 for a feeling? Well, you'll have to decide that, but I'll be putting some videos up to help you decide.